I met Bruce McConaughey, oh gosh, 2 years plus when I saw him at the Valspar golf tournament. And this is what Bruce kind of looked like back then. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. Not exactly the picture of health. And he was my only sale at the golf tournament. Okay, just he came up and was on a walker, and the term skin and bones and warmed over was kind of what I had used for Bruce. And you can see here that at 140 pounds, 5'10",
Oh my goodness.
yeah, not exactly ready for the marathon or the 100-yard dash, and wasn't exactly doing all that well. And the good old VA had him loaded up with 30 medications. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I've kind of taken this to where I don't even want to take 30 vitamins, let alone 30 medications. Okay.
Right.
So his wife had patched everything up for him, and this was the kind of where he was, if you can believe this, kind of scary. I don't know if you
Let's
can.
take
Back it up a little,
it
Gary.
back a little bit, Gary. Well,
There
no,
you go.
okay, yeah, wow.
Yeah, they would drain his stomach every
Oh,
2 weeks, 6 to 8 liters, and as he said, when he came into the VA, he came so often they just waved him through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
so not exactly the picture of health here. And so we met and we started off on two patches. And here's the guy 10 months later and 50 pounds heavier. Walked 150 miles last month and the month before for cancer, one of the programs, on no medication, off the liver transplant list, and living life to the fullest. So, Bruce, how did all this take place?
I will do a disclaimer, Gary.
Okay,
I told you I'm a recovering Baptist pastor.
that's right.
So, so, so I was 30 years in a vocational pastorate and all my life basically in the ministry. And so I'm a believer. I am a believer.
Yeah.
So in 2023, I fell down and couldn't get up. Uh, and over the course of the next few months, I lost 100 pounds. Uh, I went to doctors in three medical healthcare systems, Baycare, TGH, and the VA, and they all said, "Man, we got to take that liver out." They all told me. They said, "Well, it might be your heart, might be your liver, might be your thyroid, might be your kidneys," and God bless them. I mean, traditional healthcare is great because it kept me alive. So in the fall of 2023, I entered into the liver transplant protocol, and I met you in April at the Valspar,
Yeah.
and you came over and gave me the same diagnosis that my doctors gave me. You said, "Hey, you don't look so good," because I was sitting in a walker. I couldn't control a hamburger in my hand. And so Joyce, my wife, wasn't with me. And when she got back, I had your information. You were gone. And and I said, "Hey, this guy come here and gave me this information." And so we looked at it and she looked at it. And they told me if I didn't have a liver transplant, this was in 2023, if I didn't have a liver transplant in a year and a half, I'd be dead. So this was in April of that following year in 24. And we looked at it a couple of weeks. We had nothing to lose. You've seen what my body was like.
Mm.
And and so we started with one patch. We started with the Aeon patch. And immediately it made me horribly ill. And I called Gary every day and I said, "Gary, man, I don't know, is this right?" He said, "Well, you are so full of medication and inflammation and all this, your body's just reacting to all that." So it's like 2 weeks before I started on the 39s. By the midsummer, my MELD scores, and those are the scores that they adjust for you to have a liver transplant. At that time, I was on a liver transplant with Tampa General Hospital and the VA hospital in Richmond, two of the greatest hospitals for liver transplants in the world. I mean, these guys are world class.
Mm.
One of my major doctors said, "Hey, man, if your MELD scores keep going down, we're going to have to take you off the transplant list." And so we panicked. That's why I actually asked him. I said, "Do I have to make myself sicker?" Two of the greatest, two of the greatest prescriptions that I've gotten in the 3 years that I went through this process is my major transplant doctor said, "Keep doing what you're doing," and the other fella said, "Sweat." So thank all you people for paying your taxes, because you spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on me to keep me alive. So traditional medical care kept me alive long enough to meet Gary Homburg that said, "Hey, you don't look so good." And so and so by the end of October, they were pulling out 4, 6, 8 liters every 2 weeks. October 30th was my last paracentesis. January 25, I was off all liver transplant lists, all my medication, and here I am today.
Mhm.
Just
2
amazing.
patches.
Yeah. Just 2 patches. I mean,
2
that's
patches.
part of this.
Eon and 39. I've
Yeah.
since put on the 49s because,
Yeah.
I'm lifting weights still.
Yeah. I mean,
And I'm
$5
walking
a
and
day,
running.
not $500 a day.
I'm 70 years old, Gary.
Yeah.
I'm 70.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm 50.
Yeah. Yeah. And walking 150 miles for whatever cancer program, that's pretty strong testimonial of recovery and coming back. And as you said to me a while back, if you hadn't met me, you wouldn't be above ground. And I said, Bruce, I'm just the messenger. That was the grace of God. The only sale I had at that entire tournament was you. And here we are. You're a testimonial to what this can do, what it's doing.
Yeah,
And,
it's
and
a God thing.
I
It's
tell
a God
people
thing.
I tell people when I'm getting ready to show your pictures, I say, listen, after this, I am out of bullets.
Yeah.
If they're not convinced that what this can do after seeing those 5 pictures, I'm sorry, I have nothing more to say to you.
And last weekend, I spent the weekend. I was invited to be a part of a VA hackathon.
Yeah.
And you can look it up, VA Hackathon 2025, and you'll see. But they're trying to find innovative ways to promote or to better veteran healthcare across the system.
Yeah.
VA is the largest healthcare system that we have,
Wow.
and so I told the doctor that started that. I got her on the phone, and she said she personally invited me to come, and so I spent it with Microsoft and MIT and all these people, and they were just absolutely blown away. They couldn't believe what had happened to me.
Yeah. And then you started off with the Eon, and someone said, "Why did he do that?" I said, "I have no idea." I told him 49, I told him Eon,
Well, I
and
was out of my mind then.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I don't think at the time you obviously weren't working.
Oh no, I couldn't work.
Yeah, I mean the
I
quality of
lost the contract. I
yeah.
lost the general contracting business in Florida.
Wow.
Yeah.
And here you are today, turned around on just 2 patches that pretty much got you. When did you get off the walker?
Oh, that was in October. So I was
Okay.
off the walker by then.
Okay.
So yeah, when I would go back for my test, I tell you that I'm in the VA program called the Wise Bruce Alive Still test. It's a
Yeah.
prime test, and
Yeah.
they can't figure out why I'm still alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tell them I wore these little patches,
Yeah.
and they say, "What's that?" And I said, "Well, that's my little stem cell aggravator."
Just
And
amazing.
they put me right in the MRI machine, right in the CAT scan, everything I went in. They I left, they made me leave my patches on. I said, I can't take my patches off.
Yeah, just incredible. I
Those
mean,
will keep me alive.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of this business. You get to help people get their lives back. You'll never forget me. I'll never forget you. I mean, we're
Yeah,
sharing a friendship and a common bond, of by the grace of God, things that have taken place. And
grace.
we all get to have those experiences. And this was just is the start of a movement that, I think David Schmidt is heading up that is going to be life changing on so
Oh,
many.
it's a everybody, and I'm focusing kind of immediately on my veteran friends,
Yeah.
because I walk past them now
Yeah.
at my VA hospital, and I look and I say, that's where I was
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
And now I'm walking in there
Yeah.
after I just traded in a pair of tennis shoes because I had 600 miles on them.
Wow.
I just bought a brand new pair of Skechers today.
Yeah.
So I
Just
can't wait for the
incredible.
next 600 miles.
Right. No doubt. No doubt. Dr. Jen, what do you think? Anything to add? Anything to,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
I think both Cindy and Bruce are perfect examples of this technology. We often hear these stories of, the different health conditions that are resolved as a result of using them. And I wish there was a way to quantify how many health conditions they can help people that they help us avoid, if I can use that terminology. There's,
No, I
there's no
use it
way
all the time.
we'll ever know, but I know I'll never be without it again. That's for sure. And what we're talking about, because I know some of you on this call are new and have maybe never heard of this before. But we're talking about a product called X39. It's not showing up too well on the screen, but there are these patches that are about the size of a quarter, and they're a form of wearable phototherapy. So rather than standing inside or in front of a phototherapy machine, you simply place the patch on your body. And what it does is it reflects back specific wavelengths of light that we all naturally emit as mammals. And in doing so, in the case of X39, which is always the star of the show, it elevates the GHK copper peptide in the body, and that resets over 4,000 genes to a younger, healthier state. One of those genes, which is P63, it reactivates your tired old dormant master cells that are the holy grail for healing, repair, and regeneration. And when you do that, it just kind of wakes everything up in your body and says, hey, get back to work. Bruce, Cindy, Gary, they still have a lot of living to do. And I always say I can't tell you how or when you're going to feel the effects when you use this patch, because it's a little different for everyone. In other words, that repair and regeneration is going to show up differently for a person like Bruce versus someone who's, I don't know, been in a serious accident versus someone who's had their gallbladder removed versus someone like Cindy who's had some, chronic stress and an injury and thyroid condition and kidney, poor kidney function. So we're all different, but yeah, this patch definitely can, we call it our little miracle sticker, and you'll find a lot more information about it on a website called startx39now.com. And, one more quick note before we go. Sometimes people ask us, gosh, I'm allergic to everything. What's in the patches? Well, it doesn't really matter because they're non-transdermal. So unlike a transdermal patch that you're all familiar with, such as the birth control patch or the nicotine patch or the estrogen patch, those are examples of transdermal patches that are transferring drugs, chemicals, hormones, whatever, through the skin, through the dermis, which then goes through the bloodstream. LifeWave's patches are all non-transdermal, And so they're made, each one is a little different inside, has a crystal lattice structure that's formed from a combination of stereoisomers, primarily amino acids, but some salts, sugars, water, oxygen. And that forms a crystal lattice structure that's only seen under a microscope. And that structure is what knows which wavelengths of light to reflect back into the body to produce these beneficial changes. And I know you've all probably seen a movie where the military is using night vision goggles to track their soldiers. Well, what those goggles are picking up on is the light that all of us naturally emit as mammals. Every single one of you on here, you are emitting light, infrared light from your cells right now as we speak. So these patches just reflect that back into the body to trigger these beneficial changes in the body. And again, it's a little bit different for everyone, but everyone benefits exactly how they should. So if there's anything else, Gary, would you like to wrap this up?
Just want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. And we're always here on Monday and Thursday night with amazing testimonials. If you're new, get back with the person that invited you. They think a lot of you. This is a game changer like nothing I've ever seen. I personally believe it's the greatest health and wellness product ever invented because of what I've seen. And the two people on the night are certainly testimonials. So thank you, LifeWave David Schmidt, and good night. And join us again.
That's right. Thank you all. Have
Hi,
a good evening.
Jennifer.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Hey,
Jennifer.
Mhm.
thank you.